All right, guys. Well, welcome to our podcast here. My name's Marlon Hernandez. I've got my good friend Victor Rodriguez
Yes,
here to
sir.
my left. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. This is the first time, that we're going to do something like this. We really just want to, more than anything, share just kind of our stories and really our journeys as far as business is concerned.
Right.
I know that there's a lot that we always talk about, and there's a lot to talk about that we can, have a lot of fun with. But really, our purpose here is just to educate, people as far as entrepreneurship goes and business goes. And our goal is that we can, hopefully help someone that's maybe going through something that we're going through right now or has a similar journey. And, we're all people. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We all have, difficulties and our own journeys that we go through. So we just want to help each other out, as much as we want to help people that are going to be watching. We hope to get some help as well, from viewers and people that are going to, collaborate with us. So thank you guys, for joining us and being on there to watch us. Anything
Yeah.
you want to say, buddy?
No, pretty much. Just everything's a journey, and we're learning as we go, type of thing. So the feedback, positive criticism, all that, we're all for it.
Absolutely.
Take
Absolutely.
it for what it is, and that's how we get better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, brother, I know that, there's a lot going on for both of us right now,
Right.
and I'd like to dive into a couple of things. If we're going to talk business, I think it'd be really cool if we share our stories. And
Yep.
you're the only person that really I can say this about, but we started our journey together.
Right.
The
Yep.
whole entrepreneurship and business in general. If you don't mind, I mean, I'd like to see how much you remember, but talk about, you're younger than I am. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to release your age out there,
Not yet.
but I mean, you are younger than me and we started at the same time, but what was that like for you? I mean, fresh out of high school, talk about, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so it was just like I mentioned, it's a journey. So, for example, what I was doing back then at the time, I was going to school, pretty much the whole thing, going to college. But at the same time, I was still discovering what's my purpose. Like, what do I really want to do? Like, do I really want to pursue this career? And at the same time, obviously, school to intuition, it's expensive, so you have to work to be able to buy the books. You got to do that. So I took a job.
Classes.
I took a job working at a country club as a dishwasher at the time, and kind of just went up the ladder, became a cook. And at that time, I was 19 years old, and at age 20, that's when I got introduced to an opportunity, pretty much, when it came into. It was something I had never heard about, never thought about. I was still stuck in the whole 9 to 5. Let's do this. You do this, you get paid for this, and amount of hours. And for me, it was different. It was different, but I was willing. I was open to trying. I was in that stage of my life, and that's
Willing
when
to try something new.
Try something new, and
If
that's when.
If you don't mind, on that note, bro, I mean, we're both Latino.
Yeah.
He's half Honduran, half Mexican. I'm
Okay.
fully Honduran. And I think I can speak for, at least in my experience, Victor, I think we probably are the same in this. Like, we're not really taught about entrepreneurship. We're not really taught about business. We're really taught,
Go to school.
really the main thing.
Education, and that's what our parents sell us on. Because obviously, it's understandable as well, because they made that sacrifice to come to this country, and in their mind and their beliefs is education is the way to go. That's going to be the route that's going to take us and change our family's legacy, I guess you could say. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's where we come in as the first generation, second generations, where we teach our parents, like, hey, there's more to that than just this.
There's so much to, I think, unravel there, because it takes me back to one of the moments, good and bad moment that I had with my father,
Yeah.
where I think I probably shared this with you, but
Right.
when I joined the company that we met at, and we'll get more into that in a little bit, but my dad and I actually got into it verbally, where he was like, what are you doing? Like, I went to college.
You graduated.
I
You got
graduated.
your
I got
degree.
my degree in sociology, and like Victor's saying, we're taught to. I think the traditional way of doing things is go to school, get a good education, and then get a good job, right? Using your degree. And to echo what he's saying, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a lot of success there, and I think certain professions require that. You actually can't go around that. But honestly, my heart just wasn't into it. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at the time. I mean, going through college was, I think, a trip for me because I don't think I ever knew what I wanted to do, but I was just doing it because to please my dad, please the family. It's the right thing to do. Everybody else is doing it. I mean, so that's what I followed up on. But anyways, I remember it'll be really funny if my dad ever sees this. I'll probably have to send him this and translate it in Spanish. But him and I got into it. He was like, hey, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your education, you're not using your degree. And it was, one of those moments that I don't think I'll ever forget, but I really had to stand up to him and actually stand up for myself.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, bro, like looking at it now, me being older and having more experience and more maturity in life, I don't feel anything towards him or anyone that comes at me, right? Any kind of weird feelings or even just anger. But back then, I didn't know that. Back then, I got into it, and I really kind of had this dislike for my dad, where I was like, "Bro, you're trying to stop me from my dreams. You're my enemy," type, know. Right. And now, like you said, it's not them like hating on us or wanting us to not even do good. It's just all they know.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So I think, if. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the funny thing is that my experience was a lot different. Was my experience was actually positive with my father, where he actually was like, "Dude, go for it. What do you got to lose?"
Well, your dad's kind of he is an entrepreneur
he's an entrepreneur
himself.
And he had that mindset where he's like, "Look, you're 20 years old. You don't got no kids. You don't got a mortgage. You don't got this. Like, you don't have that response. You're at a perfect age where you could take risks, and this is the age that you want to do it." So once I heard that feedback from my father, I'm like, what do I have to lose? There's really nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And I just remember, to this day, he said, and if it wasn't for you and it didn't work out, at least you left with more experience.
Right.
You leave with more experience. You learned something that you didn't know before.
Now you won't have that what if of like, damn, what if I would have done that? Now you can say, hey, I tried it, not for me, next.
Yeah, and just taking that leap, though, it changed my life forever.
Mm-hmm.
Just going into an environment where there's leadership, you're self-developing. Like, before in college or high school, not once did I ever pick up a book and read or anything like that, or try to improve myself. But just getting exposed to a different environment and exposure, I think that's a huge thing. A lot of times, growing up from where we come from, South LA, a lot of people don't have exposure of their neighborhood, like outside their neighborhoods. Their neighborhoods is all they know, and that's all they know.
Mm-hmm.
We had that exposure where it's like, damn, okay, there's more out there.
Yeah.
And if this person is doing it, why can't we?
Right. I just want to clear the record. My dad was an entrepreneur as well. So he actually had, I forget about this because my dad's no longer here in America. He's still alive. He's back home in our home country, Honduras. So I don't think too much about his situation. But he had his own painting business. Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, I wish he would have, approached me with that energy your dad gave you. But no, but again, it was a really good thing because it solidified it in me, where it's like, all right, bro, you really want to do this? Like, you're going against Pops, and how much do you actually believe in this? Right. Are you going to cave in, go get that 9 to 5? Which I also want to say, and I think you agree with me, nothing wrong with the 9 to 5. Nothing wrong with you going to school. I'm not saying, our message here today isn't like, screw college, skip all of that. We're not saying that. Obviously, I understand that there's some professions that do require that. There's no way around it. But, hey, if you feel like maybe you want to take risk and do something else, do it. Do it like your dad told you. Take the risk, and doing it when you're younger, in your early 20s, like you did, like we both did, is great timing.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's really nothing to lose, So if you're in that time frame, that age frame, take that opportunity. If something has approached you, or someone has approached you with an opportunity, maybe they saw something in you that you didn't see for yourself at the time, and you just going with that mindset. What do I have to lose at this point? The only thing you could gain is experience and knowledge. Yeah.
It just makes me, think about how many dreams are crushed and how much,
I think that was a pivotal moment for you, because you stood up to your pops. You kind of stood your ground, and you said, hey, like, if I let my pops talk me out of this, in a sense, it's kind of like
It ends there.
it ends
It ends
there.
there. Like I wouldn't have pursued that because that is pops, you know, and that's I think like everybody, your dad, whether it's your dad or your mom. I mean, these are people we grow up with, and they're
Correct.
the ones that raise us, and we end up imitating them a lot, and we end up being just like them.
Yeah.
Like I mean, to keep it real, it wasn't a pretty conversation. I did say things that I did apologize for afterwards, but looking back on it, I mean, like you said, if I wouldn't have done that, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Correct. I
So
mean, maybe in the painting business.
maybe in the painting business, who knows? You mentioned something earlier, brother, where you said like it's important for the right environment. It's
Yeah.
important to. I mean, if you don't mind a little bit more, I know you started with high school, and so you were 20 when you joined that when we joined
I was
that company.
20. I believe
I thought
I was.
you were 18. No,
No, no, no. I want to say I was 19 going into 20, and
so then I was like 22, 23, right
you were
after
fresh out of college. Yeah,
Yeah,
so you
that
were in
makes
that
sense.
time frame.
22, 23.
But yeah, so pretty much, like I didn't have the right away success and this and that, but I never looked at it that way. I looked at it as I was going to school again. In school you have your freshman year, your sophomore year, your junior, and your senior year.
You're
And
learning.
everything's a learning. I never looked at it like, oh my God, I want to do this, do that, that. I looked at it. I came in this game as a student.
What do you think about people that expect overnight success, and what can you say to someone that has been doing business? I mean, we do life insurance specifically. We're in the life insurance business. We're both insurance brokers, but just speaking generally, whether it's a podcast business, music business, what can you say to somebody that, hey man, their first year in, they're getting discouraged? Is that normal? Should they quit?
No, not at all. Trust your process. Trust everything is a learning process, and I think that's very important to know. Is that if you take off, maybe 2-3 years from now, you weren't ready for that success, and sometimes I see that where you might have that early success, but mentally you weren't ready for it. So when I guess you could say when shit hits the fan, you quit.
You lose it.
You quit, and mentally you kind of like you lose that because you weren't ready for that, or a lot of things happen where, again, you're not ready for that success, and you're not ready to handle big money yet.
Yeah.
And things like that. So you got to trust your process. And I've always told people this is just take it like you're going to school. Every year you're gonna get better. Every year you're gonna learn something. Every year you're gonna progress, and that's my advice on that.
Yeah, I think that's very true. One of the things that I'm preaching, and one of the things I've learned, and I just want to teach people, I strongly believe this. One of my business partners, John Tell Jones, we have really good conversations, lengthy convos about this, is you're getting paid exactly what you're worth.
Yep.
And, there's a lot of people that want to make, everybody, I'm pretty sure everyone wants to make more money. Who
Right.
doesn't? But one of the hardest pills to swallow is that you are making right now,
Exactly.
like wherever you're at, whatever tax bracket you're in, you're making exactly what you deserve. To me, that's good news, because what that tells me is I'm in control of that.
Right.
So like, all right, if you're making 50 G's a year, mind you, we're in California, we're from Los Angeles. 50 G's is not going to get you much. We got to do more, especially with inflation. That's a whole fucking other conversation. But, if you're making that, that's because that's what you're worth. So I would say, it's good news, because if you can get to 50, you can get to 100, you can get to $500,000, you can get to $1 million. All you got to do is, and I would say, invest in yourself.
Yep.
Believe in
That's
yourself.
the biggest investment.
The biggest investment you can make is in yourself, whether that looks like reading more books, putting yourselves in the right environments,
Yep.
connecting yourself to people that are already at places that you want to get into.
That's key right there.
Right.
That's
Get that
key.
mentorship.
Get that mentorship and hang around those people that already have what you want. But obviously in the same way have the characteristics. There's some people that maybe have what you have but don't have the right characteristics, So
What do you mean by that? Like characteristics?
maybe they still got a lot of bad habits where they're doing things bad, how do you say it? It's kind of like you might see this persona, but in the back end there's something different.
Okay,
And I think that's
okay.
very, very important. Where if you're gonna, at least for me,
You're talking about character, like just how they
yeah,
are.
Exactly. I say, is this for me? What I look into is, okay, does this person carry the same values that I carry?
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, is this
So
person?
not only align yourself with people that are making money, but also align yourself with people that believe in what you believe
Yeah,
in
the
and same
values,
morals, values.
morals, values, all that.
Right.
You know.
Would you say that there's people out there that make a lot of money that have bad character? I would say 100%
Yeah,
yes.
100%. I mean, I personally, we see it in the music industry all the time, you know,
Yeah.
but that's another topic.
Even our own industry. I
Yeah,
mean,
we see it.
I
But
mean, if I can list some people, I'm just kidding. I'm
wow,
not
no,
gonna
no,
get
we're not gonna do that. But you just gotta know who you are. I think that's an important key. Know who you are. Know what values you carry, and if you hang around with the same people, the same values and same characteristics, most likely you're gonna carry that same
What'd
success.
you do, bro, to make this kind of more personal so,
hmm
we can get to know you a little bit better? What'd you do in that situation? You placed yourself in an environment,
Well, if I'm honest with you, I could even say it even started at an early age. You know, like you growing up in Los Angeles, and my dad actually taking us out of Los Angeles, and putting us in a suburb home in Bakersfield. I got to surround myself with different people, education wise. You know, a lot smarter than me. My neighbors at the time, you know, I've been blessed and fortunate to have older people in my life talk wisdom into me. You know, hey, don't do this instead. Like I remember back in the days, like my neighbor at the time saying, "Hey, maybe you don't know it right now, but credit is a very important thing, and you're gonna understand that later on. But always protect your credit."
Mm,
Things like that. Later on, I understood what he was talking about.
hmm
But I've always had people like that in my life that guided me the right way. And for me, it was older people at the time when I was young. You know, they were spitting free game on me, I guess you could say. Like I would hear it from my dad, but I would also hear it from this person, this person. So it's kind of like, oh damn, well, they know what they're talking about. I mean, they own a house. They
Right,
do this.
right.
I started looking into things like that.
It's funny, bro. This doing this podcast is actually really cool because the more as we're talking, I'm realizing you and I were complete opposites. Like sure, I'm a little bit older than you, but like you having your dad that was there to support you,
Yeah,
I really didn't have anybody. You had good people
I did,
around you
100%.
talking to you about credit and like,
At a very young age, but most importantly, it was the hard work behind it. Like nothing was ever given or like, hey, no, they put me in a situation where I had to earn money, whether it was cutting a lawn at a young
you
age,
had opportunity
yeah,
from as a
cleaning
youngin.
pools, things like that. But it also, the funny thing is, I look at it today where I was being molded and shaped for entrepreneurship, but at the time I didn't really know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make money, it was like, oh, you got to cut my lawn, you got to
Mm-hmm.
clean my pool, things
It's
like that.
funny because I'm asking myself, like, what did I wasn't molded like that at all. Like, I got a few scholarships to go study in some really good
So you
private
you were smart
schools.
in the books.
I was book smart. I mean, I definitely had my street smarts as well, but I was being more rewarded for the book smart. But
hmm
see, I got connected to really good people,
Yeah,
but really rich people, but I never got close. Well, I mean, just think about it. Like, I'm in middle school, high school. Like, I'm getting connected to other students, other
yeah,
kids my age. It's not like
right,
they're gonna spit game to me, and it's
yeah,
not like I have the knowledge to go to their parents. Hey, I know I'm 13. You're 45. Like, what can you? What I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, I didn't have that, but I'm thinking like, dude, I just had to learn the hard way because
yeah.
one of the things about me is that the very first car, and I'm not ashamed. I think it's just really part of my story, and it's funny now. I mean, in the moment, it was heartbreaking and felt like my world was gonna fall apart. But you remember my Kia
Yeah,
Optima? Yeah, I
yeah.
had a, I
I
had a
think it was
brand
blue.
new,
It was
a
blue or
gray. It was
grayish.
gray. It was gray.
Yeah.
I had a gray Kia Optima, and my first car. And I didn't last long before I got it repoed. And I
That's right.
had a good friend, which we haven't talked in a while, but a good friend actually co-signed with me, and it was just a hot mess. It was a hot mess where, it didn't work out. It didn't work out, and it was my fault. Really, I was still learning what I wanted to do. Money wasn't stable, and I missed a couple payments. And it's funny now, but like I would park the car. I used to live with my grandmother back then. I'd park the car and kind of surround it with other cars. So if the tow truck ever came, you can't repo it because it's
Sounds like a good technique.
you know what I'm saying? But they
Did
caught me.
did it work?
So fast forward, they caught me. I'm now working. I'm back in the life insurance game. A lot of time went by, and bro, this is out of all places. I'm at the office. I had just joined a new company. Just joined a new company, the one previous to the one I'm currently with, and this is in Lakewood, California. My car's parked. You know, I get there in the morning. We do our thing. We're in that office dialing, booking appointments, hustling. Bro, I remember that day. Of course, I mean, I'm not going to forget the day my car got repoed. I get out excited. You know, it's like me and my boy Clifton. We're like, yeah, bro.
Right away.
Well, so we're like, yo, how many appointments you booked? You know, boom, boom, man. We're going to have a great day. Hey, bro, have a good night. Everyone's going home. I get my car keys out. It's like, you know, it's like, well, I thought I parked. Like, and I'm like, bro, immediately, like, my heart drops. I'm just like, shit, like, this is so embarrassing.
Did you
like,
think somebody stole it or?
no, I knew what happened.
Oh, okay.
I was like, there ain't nobody stealing that car. Like, I had like a flat tire. Like they were gonna, like, they repoed it. Sure enough, you know, one of my coworkers was like, oh my God, Marlon, was that Kia your car? Like, when I got here, I saw them towing it, and she just didn't know. She just didn't know it's my car. Obviously, it's not her fault, you know, but that's a true story. My car got repoed, and shout out to my boy Clifton, who to this day, you know, I met him at the old company, and he's one of my day ones. And he actually, that same night, he didn't really hesitate. He's like, hey, bro, I got an extra car. If you want to use it, go ahead. So,
nice.
You know, he really looked out for me, and so I appreciate that, bro.
How'd you play it off? Did you try to play it off? Like, oh, it's because they had a flat tire, you know?
Play it off with who?
With the person that saw it?
With who?
With the person that saw it get repoed. Did you
I mean,
the engine wasn't working, or?
No, I mean, I think I just kept it real. I think at that point, like, you know, I was learning to be honest with myself. You know what I'm saying? That's I think one of the things that limits a lot of people is, you know, being honest, just being transparent. I think we lied. I would lie to myself a lot and be like, oh, nah, bro, you're this or that. But in reality, it's like, bro, you're not that good. Yeah. Like, Marlon, you need to tone it down. You need to develop yourself more.
It goes back to what I was just saying earlier, you know, about the progress, being a student, and honestly just continue growing.
Exactly.
But now, I guess I have a question for you. Would be like, let's just say if you didn't experience that, like, well, what type of person do you think you would be right now? Do you think you would be ready for the success?
Bro, I mean, it's you know, it's obviously a hypothetical, but I have no idea. I mean, I know I wouldn't have any of this. I mean, everything happens for a reason. I do believe that, and you know, I don't know. Maybe I'd still be broke. Maybe I'd have a fourth car repoed. Maybe I'd be taking the bus. I don't know. And again, there's nothing. You know, and I'm sharing this because, like, you know, if you're going through something like that, you know, maybe right now you've been through that. Like, it's not over. Like, life is never over. I strongly believe that. Like, you know, when I was in college, there'd be 40-year-olds, bro, in my classroom. Yeah. I'm 18, like, you know, no facial hair back then. Like, I got big ass dudes, like 50. And you know what? Like, I used to hate on that back then. And then later on, it was like, oh shit, that's actually really cool that these people are going against the grain. Because you're supposed to go to college in between 18 and 22. But these people are like, nah, I'm still going to go back and get this done. I think, you know, as long as you never stop.
Give up.
As long as you never give up. Exactly. You continue to learn.
Yeah, again, like, I look at it like success means different things to different people. And for some people, you know, at age 40, 45, let's just say, you know, like the people that you were seeing in your class, maybe for him success was to get that degree. You know, and he could label himself, he could be in peace with himself, saying, hey, you know what, I didn't give up. This is what I did. It doesn't matter what age, you know. Right. So success means different things to different people.
Right, and like you said, there's different timelines. You know, we talked about that where, I mean, there are some people that, well, you know, I wouldn't call it an overnight thing, you know, because it's not. And here's what I've learned.
Nothing is overnight.
Right, and so I used to think, like, damn, some people are just lucky. Like, there's some people that, you know, would join my company that I'm in, and, bro, what took me years in weeks, they get going. But I'd see that, be like, damn, they're just lucky. But really what I didn't look at is before, like all the work that they've been putting in prior to that. And I strongly believe that because, you know, and maybe we can, you know, start diving into this a little bit. Like, I'm now on my third life insurance company that I work with, the brokerage right now. And, you know, every company has been a stepping stone. And, you know, one of the things that I've told myself is like I've paid my dues, and not that
Right.
I'm done paying them, but like I've put in so much work, time, and effort and money to where it's like it's time to get mine. And I do want to touch on that a little bit because I think that ties to belief.
Hmm.
You know, I think that one of the biggest things that you know, our CEO talks about is belief. And we can talk about now mindset, right?
Right.
Which is, in my opinion, the foundation to everything in
Right.
life. You know, I'm not going to get religious here at all, but one of my favorite Bible verses is, "You are what you think. As a
Hmm.
man thinks, so he is." So whatever's going on in here, that's what you're going to become. That's
Right.
who you are.
Right.
So if you can start here, like I think you, what'd you say earlier? Something about a man isn't really poor. What?
Oh, I was talking about poverty,
Yeah,
but saying like poverty isn't really of what you have in your account or you know, being broke, all that stuff.
right,
Poverty is really just the way you think,
right.
the way you approach scenarios or situations that handle your life. And again, going back, we're saying mindset. You know, if we look at things at a different perspective, with the correct perspective,
Hmm.
we can overcome anything.
Right, right. And yeah, I think that is actually, I know that to be the most powerful thing
Yeah.
because it really becomes your foundation. And when
Yep.
your foundation is solid, you can just build upon that. And, you know, Victor, for you, bro, you're a little bit younger than I am. So I think there's just less experience by default, me
Yeah.
being older. You know what I'm saying? But what
And you went through some other stuff that I haven't, you know, been
there's,
through.
yeah,
But
there's a
hey,
lot of
I
stuff.
learned from your mistakes.
Yeah, right, right. And you
Again,
know,
yeah, going back to the having older people around me
yeah,
and
yeah.
learning from their mistakes
And it's not always going to be, I mean, you definitely want good people around
Yeah.
you, smart people that are going to make calculated risk and,
Right.
you know, just move. But you're also going to learn from that dumbass uncle who's like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, fucking up. And it's just like, okay,
I know
this
what not to do
what
at this
not to
point.
do.
Yeah.
Right. What when it comes to belief, bro, for you, like, and mindset, what, you know, why is that so important to you, and how have you changed,
Hmm.
you know, your self-belief, you know, as you continue just doing your thing here?
Yeah. For me, it just goes back to, you know, you look at our where we grow up, where we come from, and the natural thing is when you say, "Hey, I'm gonna be successful," or "I'm gonna do this," "I'm gonna do something that's different outside the grain." The first thing your friends do is they cap on you. They make fun of you. Like, "Come on, bro, you can't do that." Like, look at who your dad is. Look at they start naming all the defects,
All the reasons why you can't.
all the reason why you can't do something, right? So for me, it was shut down the noise and it's saying, "Yo, let me prove to these people that I could actually do it." So what did I have to do? I had to improve myself. You know, I would cuss a lot. I was probably, you know, shy, nervous. Uh,
But like, pardon the interruption, but like your homies, like growing up in the hood and all of that, like, I mean, your homies is everything. Your
yeah,
friends is like, well,
to
you
this
are
day, we're still tight. You know,
right. And what's that saying? Like point me to your friends, and I can, you know,
right?
like point you how you're gonna be. Like, but how did you fight that though? Like, what did you tell yourself? I'm talking about that internal talk, like, yo, fuck these guys. I'm just gonna go get it
Yeah,
type
that was really the
in
mentality.
a respectful
In
way.
a respectful way, where it's like, hey, you don't understand where I'm going, but that's okay.
Right.
I gotta shut the noise down, and if that means not coming around here for a minute to do what I gotta take care of, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where, you know, like, I remember my close friend to this day, who I consider a brother, was like, hey, like, you know, you know, like you could come by often, you know, say hi, say this, but because I stopped going completely. Like, it was, to me, it was like, all right, if you're not in the same page as me, that's okay. I'm not gonna judge you for who you are, but I gotta separate myself. Because if I continue to come around here, all you're doing is you're intentionally or unconsciously, what you're doing is you're shutting down my dreams. You're shutting down with who I want to become in the future.
And that also ties into the whole, like, you know, standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, one of my prayers, bro, and I think I shared this with you earlier, like, I literally was telling God, like, Lord, I'm not asking for you to make my life easy. Like, I'm gonna need opposition because I know that in the storm, that's where you get stronger, that's where you get
Yep.
tougher. Like, you know, what I'm sure we can all think of people that unfortunately have been talked out, you
Yeah,
know, of their dreams
100%.
because maybe it's not the parents, but it is your
But they
friends.
believe what the people tell them.
Right.
You know?
Like, how I mean, we know it's important, and what do you think, man? I mean, someone that can't maybe figure that out, like,
You got to learn how to think for yourself and make decisions for yourself. You know, a lot of times we listen to what this person says, but you really got to dive into their life. You know, and not in a judgmental way, but in a way it was like, okay, what has this person achieved?
right? What
How
have they
far have
done?
they gotten? You know,
And then also ask yourself, what do you want?
what do I
Right?
want?
Like,
Do I want that for myself 10, 20, 15 years from now? Or do I want to be different? Do I want to be that first person in my family that actually planted their flag and created a different lane?
You know what's interesting about that, Ed, is that for me, when I went to school with these, rich kids, successful parents, ironically, these kids, like, it's very common for parents to want their kids to, do what they're doing, especially if they're successful. I can see that. I think there's definitely good intention behind that. But, one of the things, that I believe in is just letting people figure out what they want to do.
Right.
Like, you might be a really successful lawyer, doctor, whatever, but maybe your son doesn't want anything to do with that.
Right. And then the thing is, again, it's with good intentions, but they kind of force that upon them.
But then that kid ends up not being happy.
Yeah,
That kid ends
exactly.
up, like, actually probably developing some bad feelings towards.
Animosity, all that, and also, let's just say they become that lawyer that their parents wanted them to be, just like them, but they live an unhappy life for themselves.
How can people figure out what they want to do? Like, yo, I mean, I'm talking, on Instagram, I get, hey, if we can just keep it 100, like, with you, we had a good conversation, I think about a week ago, where you were talking about your purpose, where you're like, hey, I want to really kind of get everything back on track and find what I want to do. How are you doing that?
For me, it was just really going back to the basics, going back to, writing down what I want. When do I want it? Putting goals with the time frame in it, and also finding that belief in myself again. Like, yo, if you've done it before, you could do it again. Right now, I'm not surrounding myself with the right people, with the same mindset, and obviously the same purpose and same goals. So for me, it was going back to the basics. I got to surround myself with the right people again. I got to put myself in a good environment, a great environment where I could,
So at least you have the awareness to know.
So that's
because some people get caught up in that.
Yes, and that's key right there. It's awareness. You got to build that awareness for yourself. You got to be aware of your situation, your surroundings, and just ask yourself the tough questions. Like you said earlier, you got to be real with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, what do I want?
Right.
What do I truly want?
And so what if you don't know, though? What if you, like, sit down and it's like, all right, Marlon, what do I want? And it's just question marks. Like, what do you suggest? Like, I mean, for me, I'd say try different stuff. like seriously though, seriously, like, look, take a risk. Like, you don't need money for everything. Like, maybe you do need to get a job and because you'll need money to try some things, but life is about taking risks. And I think one of the things that people don't do enough, especially poor people, I mean, if I can think about my life, like, I really wasn't able to take too much risk as a youngin' because the resources weren't there.
Yeah.
But thankfully, like, one way or another, things ended out working out just fine, I'd say.
Right.
But I would definitely say, if you don't know, if you're in a place of maybe confusion, life crisis, whatever you want to call it, as long as you have time, you have an opportunity to figure that out.
As long as you're breathing.
As long as you're breathing, take a risk. If it's singing, if it's acting, if it's music, if it's doing a podcast, if it's
pretty much like we're doing
anything,
today. Right?
anything.
You say take a risk, and I if I could just piggyback from that, is just learn a skill, learn something that you can grow a passion or just fall in love with, and go from there. For me, it was really helping people.
Yeah.
Helping people, whether that be in the insurance industry or the leadership industry, building people up and showing them, hey, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, type of thing. And sometimes we need that. We need that person that's going to be like, hey, yo, you can do this.
Yeah.
Goes back to the belief that you're talking about.
Right. And if it doesn't work, try something else.
Yeah.
Try something else, because what's the worst thing that can happen? I think the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work out. I mean, I literally think the worst thing that can happen in life is you dying, because then it ends. Then it's like game over. You're not breathing. You can't do anything else. But if you're still breathing, you know what I'm saying? If you can still move around, keep trying different things till you find what works for you. And we're talking. This all connects to just timing. And I haven't confirmed this. I haven't checked the sources on this, but I read that. What is it, Colonel Sanders, the KFC guy? This is pretty funny.
Yo, he was like 80 something, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he was like, I think he was like in his 60s. But point is, he was.
I thought he was 80.
But okay, I mean, but point is, he's a
yeah,
senior.
correct.
He's a senior. KFC is, I mean, I don't consume that fried chicken, even though I know it's delicious. But I'm trying to keep my health up. So I mean, anyways, point is, this guy's in his 60s, but trial and error. Now he's built a massive empire. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he started door knocking and giving the fried chicken.
I don't know. I don't know the details.
I want to say it was something in those lines.
But again, it goes back to
correct
those
me if I'm
50-year-olds in my classroom that like, it doesn't matter as long as you keep trying. Because I think that's just a more fulfilling life where, I've tried this, I've tried that. I can truly say, you know what, this wasn't for me. I'm going to try something else. And I mean, the joy and just the fun that you have when you do what you love.
Exactly.
I mean, that it's a cliche and it annoys me a little bit, but it's so true. Like you find something that you love and you'll never work another day in your lifetime.
Yeah, it'll never feel like work again.
Right.
I believe it because you're fighting towards that purpose, and because you're so committed to that purpose, you're not thinking about what happened yesterday or what went wrong yesterday. You're thinking about, this is where I want to go. This is what I'm focused on. So it never feels like work. Every how do you say, every step you take, it's towards your purpose.
That vision there.
Yeah.
Let's dive into insurance, bro. Let's talk about our insurance industry and why everyone should work with us. No, just kidding. But what for you, brother? Why life insurance? I mean, were you tricked into this?
No, not at all.
Someone put a gun in your, hey, bro, go. What happened?
So it took me some time to actually process it. Being 19 years old, going into 20. Insurance was new. It was a whole new road to me. If I'm honest with you guys, I didn't understand it from the beginning. It took me some time while I was actually studying for my license, where I started learning about insurance. And I started seeing it in my day-to-day life. I would see people holding signs, this person passed away, can you donate? I didn't grow up in an environment where I knew what insurance was, or there could be insurance out there. If this person passed away, their family would receive this amount of money. I didn't know that existed. So for me, I would see it in my day-to-day life where I'm like, what we're really doing here, we're making a difference. Because if this family knew about this program here, and if they were to lose a loved one, their family, emotionally we can't take that pain away, but financially we could put that family in a better position where their family could be, once again, in a better position.
Victor, what do you need to be a life insurance agent? If someone is like, hey, I have people that do that. I know. Well, how do you do this?
Very simple. You got to be able to pass a background check only. You don't know, no experience needed. I mean, the training is there, and for me, that was the biggest thing. Where I was like, I don't need experience to do this. I don't need training. Like, you guys are gonna teach me how to do this. Let's do it. Let me learn.
Take a state exam. That's about it.
Take a state exam. Be able to pass with a 60%.
In California, it's 60%, which is a D-, because it's very lengthy. It's a lot of
75 questions.
I don't even remember. I mean, it's all multiple choice. More, I think it was more than 75. I think it was like 100,
120,
180 or something like that. But point is, you pass it once, and you never have to retake.
Which it took me 3 times to pass it, by the way. But that's the best thing about it. It doesn't matter. You could retake the test and
as many times as you need to
and pass.
What has it done for you? I mean, so you got into life insurance at 20. That's where we met.
That's where we met. For me, it was just it brought awareness. It brought awareness to me what's really going on out here. Because I would see people holding signs, and to me that was a natural thing to do. Oh, give him $5, give him $1. Let's help him bury somebody. But then when I came into insurance, it was the awareness, like, oh damn, there's actually a program out there that could help families out. Like, my family didn't know anything about it. So
can you make a living out of?
100%, 100%. The pay structure is great, but you got to put in the work behind it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where some people fell.
Yeah. I mean, if I can share, I mean, I'm in the life insurance industry as well. We met, through our first company, and I have no regrets, even though I'm not there anymore. Truth is, there's success at every company. There's a place for everybody. There's a vehicle that's designed for, every type of individual. That vehicle just didn't happen to be the vehicle for me. I think you'd agree with
Right.
that,
100%.
and that's okay. Trial and error, just like we're talking about. Like, hey,
We gave it a shot.
we gave it a shot. You gave it a much longer shot than I did, with that particular company. But I did it for probably two years. I mean, my trajectory, I did that. Then I got into Uber. I did Lyft.
Yeah.
I remember, rest in peace, Oscar. He got me into Uber. There was some sign-on bonus back then, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to go drive some people, meet people. I mean, it was fun. I actually, like, being an Uber driver, there was a thrill to it because you're just going to meet some cool-ass people.
Yeah.
You're going to meet some assholes, and some people are going to throw up in your car and all that other shit. But, like, in there, you're going to meet, like, that hot girl or that really cool guy, that cool connection. That,
Might connect you to something else.
Right. Like, I always knew, like, I'm not going to do this forever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to meet somebody in this, and I'm just going to trust God and just, do what I wanted to do. Fast forward to now, being with the company, the brokerage that I'm working with, Family First Life Excellence. I do this full time, and you can definitely make a living out from, life insurance specifically, if you dedicate yourself.
Right.
If you work hard, if you are coachable to the systems that are put in that particular company, and you take it seriously, you separate yourself from the wrong people, the wrong thinking, with time, effort, patience, and belief. It actually it's only a matter of time before you actually accomplish those goals.
Right. I agree.
So
But the unique thing about our business as well is that you could start part-time, make that part-time income where you're able to learn how to replace your income from work, So I think that's the great thing and the unique thing about our business as well, that you don't have to go full throttle or kind of just leave what you're doing. You'll learn the system, learn how to make money, learn how to replace your income from your job and go from there.
Victor, what helps you believe in yourself, bro? What I mean, you're a dude to me that you walk around with a lot of confidence and excitement. You're always like, champ, you excited? It annoys the shit out of me, and I feel like smacking you. But
back then it was worse, right?
It was a lot worse. It was too much. It was like, oh my god, I just lost my excitement by you asking me that. But what helps you keep going, bro?
Man, honestly, love the love of my family. Seeing the love that my little sister, look the way she looks at me. It's to me, it's kind of like, how can I not pay the price? How can I not be better for you? How can I not at least give myself that shot to give you a better life? So for me, it's always been love. Just the conversations I have with my pops, like it's kind of like it was you were destined to do something. He pours belief into me, and I just what's the word I'm looking for? I kind of just transfer that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really just the belief that my inner circle, my family believes in me. So to me, I just feed off of that.
I would agree with that. Definitely the love that I get now that wasn't so much there in the beginning. But hey, I guess I've earned that love.
Right.
But I would add, Victor, for me, one of the things that keeps me going is like, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it for me?
Right. Yeah.
And nobody is. The thing is that
there's that saying that if it's to be, it's up to me.
Right.
Right. And I've always thought of that too. Like this life, nobody's gonna come save you.
Nobody.
We gotta save ourselves. We're our own heroes.
Well, right. Like exactly. Like there's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of good people that want to help us, but the reality is that I am responsible for Marlon.
Yep.
You're responsible for Victor. Like, as much as I want you to win, I can't do it for you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I've learned.
Can't
as
give
well.
you that desire.
Right.
It's from within.
If you want it, Marlon, you're just gonna have to do this for yourself. And I definitely do feed off of a lot of haters and a lot of negativity.
Doubters.
And doubters, just because it makes it more fun, and the competitive person in me is like, all right, you'll see. Like, all right, this
Which
is what
good.
you think.
That's
what
the
you
competitive
believe.
side. I don't really feed off of that. Nah, man. I just whatever you want to think whatever you want. But
Right.
for me, it's just leaving a legacy for my family.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know what the future possesses, but if I have grandchildren in the future, I want them to look at me and be like, yo, that he's the reason why. we live the way that we live today.
What does that legacy look like for you when you?
Just having multiple businesses and leaving something behind for my kids, whether it be a business, money, something, something where they could work for themselves and to
Pass it on.
And continue to pass it on for others.
What if your kids don't want anything to do with entrepreneurship? Have you thought about that?
I have for whatever they want to do, but
Victor, do you have kids right
I do not, man. So let's start there.
Hey, are you single? Are you?
It would be, we have the resources to do whatever you want to do. If you want to if you want to go work at the mall, go for it. But you don't have to. The option is there, but you won't need to.
Right. You want to make them aware of what we've learned, like, hey, you could do X, Y, and Z, but ultimately whatever floats your boat type.
Working a job is not bad. I think that you got to start somewhere. Like if I had my kids, go work a 9 to 5. You got to learn how to, what it takes to earn money. We paid the price. That's the mentality behind it. You got to know what it is to pay the price as well. Nothing's going to be given to you. You got to earn it.
Right. You don't believe in handouts then? Not really a fan of why it's cheap. It's
not that it's cheap, but it doesn't build character. You're going to always think that it's okay. Like,
you're always going to be dependent.
You don't become independent.
Right.
The goal is to build independency.
It's always been said, and I don't think it's been clicking for me till these last couple of years where, again, another one of those cliches where it's like, it's not about the money, it's not about the success, it's about the person you become. And like, it's like you hear that, it's like, all right, cool, yeah, who am I becoming? But like I get that now. Like you do become a much more mature person. You just have to actually develop yourself.
Yeah.
Like I think about, self-reflection for me to be where I'm at, income level, agency level, all of this. Like the truth is that, and I mean, I'd like to hear your thoughts since you've been with me since day one, like how much of a different version I've had to become from 2 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, because that's what it takes. That's what it takes, not just in business, but particularly in business, is that you always have to be willing to adjust.
Yep.
You get a fucking pandemic that hits, you got to adjust. You got this, you got, virtual, and you got to always be in that student mindset.
That's what entrepreneurship is all about, is finding solutions.
Right.
So as you saw, pandemic, what happened? Entrepreneurs were still going. They found solutions.
Right.
They found the Ring camera. They found how to do podcasts, how to reach people through their homes without having to physically be there.
Right.
So I looked at that and I took note of it.
Opportunity. Some people see, like this is the end of something, but other people, this is the start of something,
Opportunity.
bigger.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
It's always there.
A question for you, bro. Why should people work with you specifically? If they want to do, like, somebody's out there, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs, that follow us on our Instagram. They do real estate. They do, X, Y, and Z. Why should they do life insurance, one, and then why should they do it with you?
Number one is just the generosity that I have towards a person that I genuinely want you to win. And because I genuinely want you to win, I'm going to guide you the right way. Sometimes what I've seen in business is that people don't do things with generosity. They do it because they could benefit off you. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it's
like for some people, if there's no money in it for me, sorry, bro.
Yeah. Or not only that, but they're doing things behind the scenes to get what they want, type of thing. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it's always been the generosity. Like, I genuinely want you to win. I genuinely want you to change your life. I genuinely want to guide you the right way. At the end, we all win, type of thing.
Right.
And insurance, because this is a $1 billion industry, there's a lot of money to be made. There's enough fish for everybody to fish and eat out of. So that's the way I've always looked at this business, and just going from there. Leadership as well. Leadership is a huge thing.
Absolutely.
And sorry to cut you
ahead,
off, bro, but it's kind of like, I've always told people, look, man, I'm never going to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. You're never going to see me right here sitting and me telling you, hey, go do this.
Why?
Because you got to.
Because I know people that do that.
No, you lead from the front.
But why don't you?
You lead from the front. People, I read this, and people have probably read this too. Quote me if I'm wrong, but it says People will congratulate you for what you did yesterday, but they only respect you for what you're doing today.
Okay.
So that's always stuck with me.
So keeping that respect is important to you.
Keeping that respect is always important. How do you earn respect? By putting in the work. By showing people, yo, man, doesn't matter if I'm making this much money, I'm still out there.
Right, right. I think for me, I believe that as well. Just to say that I totally am in agreement. And for me, I think it's just it ties into what you're saying. Like if you really want to help people, you're kind of it's a bit fraudulent actually if you're portraying yourself as like, hey, I make this much money, I can do this, I help this many families, when you really don't, because people are going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
They're going to come to you, hey, bro, I appreciate what you're doing,
the
but
truth
boom,
always
I
comes
want
to
to
light.
work with you. But the truth comes to light, and sometimes, what these people that don't lead from the front don't realize, and really there's a lack of care there, and it ties into exactly what you're saying. They don't really care. They just care about themselves.
Yeah.
Eventually, later on, you realize these people are, I want to say they're wasting their time. You know what I'm saying? But they're not getting what they wanted, what was promised.
Yeah.
And so Victor, like yourself, I care a lot about people, and anyone that's going to join me in business, I take that very seriously.
Right.
Because, we're dealing
We're going to war together. That's the way
we're
I
going to
look at
war
it.
together, and I know that when Victor comes on board, when Bob comes on board, it's not just them, it's their families. So like it's I don't really feel too much pressure at all. It's really just like, hey, this is serious. Like I don't picture just I picture the kids, the wife, the household, the mom, the dad, and it's like, so if I can't help you, if I can't offer you that change, I'm gonna just keep it real and be like, hey, bro, you know what? I don't think we're gonna be a good fit.
Right.
I don't want to waste your time, because time is the most
Waste your
valuable
time, my
thing.
time at the same time.
Right. Waste my
and it's not
time
being
or
selfish.
yours. Like money comes and goes, but time is not something that we figured out yet to how we can buy that back. We never will, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that for me is very key. Just leading from the front and just
it's not
knowing the ropes.
Yeah, it's not just leading from the front in a business perspective, but also leading from the front with your family.
Yeah.
If you want to be a good role model to your people, leading from the front from your family, leading from the front from your own leadership, always getting better, always developing yourself. And for me, that's always been the biggest thing. If I look at it like, yo, okay, maybe today I might attract a Marlon to join my business. But what if I want to attract somebody way higher? There's different levels.
So how do you attract? I mean, for recruiters out there, people in the business with us or other businesses how do you hire quality people? How do you do that?
You got to be quality. You got to be quality yourself. That's a big thing.
Okay.
So people know if you could lead them. People know, and I would always hear in business, oh, my age, like I can't lead somebody that's 30 something with a family. That's BS. Yes, you can. You can, but you got to be sharp yourself. You got to show them that you're not here playing around. You're not here to waste their time.
And the high quality people, because they've developed themselves, the thing about them, the reason why they're so hard to hire is because they know. They can smell that.
They smell the BS.
BS, you know what I'm saying? Like they know.
And they know when you're bullshitting.
It's more than just looking the part. It's really how you talk, how you express yourself, your vocabulary, everything has
your
to do.
Your morals, they see all that.
Yeah, just how you move entirely.
Yeah.
So being quality yourself, man. I mean, obviously, I've seen you grow, brother. Like, I mean, when we met, it's complete. I mean, I don't really remember that younger version of you, but definitely seeing you grow. With your mindset and becoming more mature and more intelligent, and taking all these risks that you have. In this particular business and other businesses that you're involved in, I've seen that transformation with you. Are you doing that just so you can be more valuable? Is that a personal thing as well for you, just in life, like?
Just being always, again, it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, just being a student to everything. I feel like the more skill sets that I could learn is the more valuable I become to the marketplace. The more things that I know, the more things we can do. Like I look at this whole podcast situation, like, yo, we're learning from all this. And because one day we plan to have this, you know what I'm saying? So doing that and just seeing the way the world is moving, everything is content. Everything, you could, we're living in a society right now. If you have 200,000 followers, maybe even 100,000, you're considered an influencer.
Well,
You
there's
know
so
what I'm
many
saying?
people like I'm fascinated by people that make so much money off of stuff like
Yeah.
this, where it
And they don't
seems
have that leadership. They don't have those skill
they don't
sets.
have any of that, but they're
Yeah.
just fucking good with
Sh-
with
Yeah.
cameras, with animation, with sound, and it's just brilliant. There's so much opportunity
Yeah.
out there, so much you can do.
So the way I look at it is like, okay, where can we be if we learn this skill? How much more people can we reach?
Right,
Because
right.
sometimes I think we're just thinking locally. How many people can I reach locally? But no, we're in a position right now where we could reach people globally.
Yeah. What 50 Cent say to Fat Joe? He said, "Hey, bro, you're just a local rapper. I'm international, baby." So
Different
you
mindset.
try to, yeah, it's different,
Different
exactly,
mindsets.
different movement.
Yeah.
Victor, so you're actually in the process right now. I mean, we're gonna look back on this a couple months from now, a couple years, and have a good laugh about it and have a good time. But you're in
Or
the
getting
process
married?
right now, huh?
Getting married, having a kid?
You are?
No, I'm kidding.
You're in the process of joining Family First Life Excellence.
Yes, sir.
Why? Why excellence?
You know, I think for me it was really just being on the phone over the phone and just talking about. I looked at my life and I looked where I'm at and I was like, yo, I'm stuck right now. I know the potential I have. I know what I can do in this business, but I've reached. I feel like I just hit a wall.
Okay.
Whether it be environments or whether it be myself. all
But
that
you were
stuff.
currently in a different
Yes.
life insurance. But why this one though? What's this gonna do for you that,
I see.
or how do you see that?
Yeah. So number one, I see the leadership with yourself. I see a person that knows where he's going, and I'm try to say, yo, I gotta be. That's who I gotta follow in my mind. And also, I see the way the business is structured, where it's totally different from where I was at before.
Yeah, yeah.
Different in the sense of having the leads.
I want to dissect that a little bit
Yeah.
because there's a lot of different audiences we're gonna be reaching out to. And number one, let me just say thank you, bro. I appreciate you keeping your eyes on me and trusting me. And like I've told you over the phone and in person, I'll say this again. Like I've got your back.
Yeah.
One of the things is that I tell my
And
people,
that's
my
loyalty.
hires,
That's what and I feel that.
it's loyalty. And one of the things that I will always say is, listen, I'm gonna give you 100%. As long as you give yourself 100%, because I do think that it's just a little bit weird, and it goes back to that self-belief when I want it more for you than you want it for yourself. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about hiring quality people and becoming a quality person yourself. There can't be anybody out there that wants it more than you.
Yep.
I think if somebody else wants it more than you, if you're not obsessed with whatever it is that you're pursuing, you got to get to that obsession. You got to get to that obsessed level because, that's one of the traits that I'm actually adding in my hiring process where it used to be, hey, you got to work hard and be coachable. You got to work hard and be coachable. That's good. But, I'm even learning another one. Like you got to have good character for sure, but you got to be obsessed. Conor McGregor, one of my favorite UFC fighters, he constantly talks about obsession, where like there's people that'll just work just enough to get by or
To make a living.
To make a living, but that greatness, that extra level is touched on by obsession.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, bro, for again trusting not just myself but my leadership team.
Yeah.
We're excited, to have you on board and to see what
sir.
you're going to become and what you're going to accomplish, not just for yourself but your family. But on that note, Victor, so let's dissect that. So we'll keep the companies nameless, out of
of
respect
course.
and just legal issues. But number one, the company you were a part of, no leads.
No leads at all. It's more of a recruit. Recruit brings the leads for you.
So okay, so
building a business off a warm market, referrals, etc.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
nothing
that.
illegal about that.
Nothing,
Is
yeah.
that it's not a scam, right?
No,
Okay,
not at all.
so you would hire people. You'd hire me, Marlon. I got an opportunity.
So what we're gonna
you.
do is, hey Marlon, what we gotta do is we gotta sit down immediately. I'm gonna get a top 15 list off of you.
I got to give you my list.
Yeah.
Of people.
Correct. Whether it be close friends, family members, or people that you're associated with.
My cousins, my
Your
mom.
cousin, yeah.
What do you do with that list then, bro?
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna contact that list directly, and I'm gonna let them know that I just hired you, that we're going through a training process. Where part of the training you need to see about 10 or 15 presentations,
Okay.
and you spoke highly of them as somebody that they trust and that you trust. where you could give him 10 or 15 minutes of your time.
Got it.
help
So
for the
you
training.
kind of paint it as like, hey, listen, this guy, your nephew just joined the
Yeah.
company. Can you help him out by doing some practicing?
Correct. Yeah. So
And
you
then
know,
there you get into your spiel about life insurance.
correct. So for example, like just to even book that appointment, I think the key right there would be your nephew spoke very highly about you as someone that he trusted.
Let me ask
and
you a
that
question.
trust them.
Let me ask you a question. Do you tell these people it's going to be about life insurance?
No.
You don't.
No. So
So you book an appointment.
Yeah, so
they're there to help out, and then but
obviously, if they ask, what is this about? It's about financial services, etc. The goal was always to book the appointment, get the appointment, show up to the appointment. When we get to the appointment, bam, this is what we do.
But that's how you would make a living,
Yeah.
right? Why didn't that work for you?
You know what? It's crazy. It's just the amount of people that you got to go through to get a quality person that's going to give you a decent list, that's going to give you a decent quality of business as well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
you got to go through the masses.
Right?
And I got to the point where it's kind of like, yo, I got to change something. I got to do something different.
Yeah,
You know,
and-
this style isn't working for me.
To be clear, I did that myself. That's where we joined. That's where we actually met, and it's a great company.
Mm-hmm.
They're a great company. They taught us so much about money. I think one of the things that they really do well is just education
On money.
There's a lot of companies that just teach about life insurance and making a sell, and this is how you tie down the client. This company here is just really like a university where you go there to learn, and they really teach you how to be a student. But their methods of doing business are just, they just don't work for everybody, you know. So I tried that as well. And so, now with Family First Life Excellence, what are you expecting here?
Yo, it's honestly, the way I look at it is there's a structure where there's a lead in place where I'm contacting a person that already has the intention to buy insurance. I don't have to hide anything.
So you don't have to like keep it on the low.
Like no, like you know why you're calling me. I know why I'm calling you.
Straight to business.
Straight to business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if I can share, shed more light on that. Family First Life Excellence, guys, we have leads. These are real people throughout the nation, throughout the U.S. So we're in California, but it doesn't matter. You can be, I have my non-resident licenses in all 50 states. So whatever state you're in, as long as there's people there, that's the thing about life insurance is everybody's going to die. Everybody has an expiration date, and, people need coverage. I mean, rich people that have so much money, they don't really need it, yet they still purchase it. I mean, it says a lot about wealth and how they pass that down. But, we're dealing with people. Essentially what we're saying is if you don't have a book of business, maybe you're the kind of person that, I don't really have that many friends or that much family
Which
here.
the majority of people don't, or maybe they don't, their friends or family don't trust them. They don't
Exactly.
have that.
Whatever that looks like, Family First Life Excellence, we have leads. So we have people that are looking for life insurance. They're filling out real forms where they're saying, hey, I'm 52, got diabetes, I'm a smoker, I'm looking for 50,000 in coverage. They do that all online. We get the lead. It's our job as insurance brokers and agents to do our thing, to do our service. Bob, how you doing? My name's Victor. My name's Marlon. I have your lead form here. It says you're 52, born March 2nd, 19, whatever. Hey, you know what? You requested this benefit for 25. Great. My job is to see what we can qualify you for and get you protected. So it's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different business structure. I mean, imagine that, a business where the clients come to you essentially. At that point, you just have to be really good at closing, which means really solving their issue, solving the problem. Hey, I want 25K, but I can only pay $20 a month. Well, you know what, Mrs. Jackson, hey, with your budget, we can't get you 25,000. That's only going to afford you maybe 10, but you're still providing value, a service. And that's what sales is all about, guys, is sales is about solving issues. I think would you agree that there's a big
100%.
stigma?
Everything is about finding solutions.
Right. And in sales, there's just such a big stigma where, they're just trying to sell me something. They're trying to force me to do something I don't want. It really, if you can just keep it simple and just, find the problem.
And it's a simplicity. I think it's when we overcomplicate it that people get that, like, oh my God, this person's just being a salesperson.
Yeah, you start talking too much.
Or you start using big words, things.
Words you don't even know what they mean.
Exactly. Keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so the leads are exciting for you, bro. Talk to me about compensation, man. I mean,
Compensation is high. I'm coming from an 80% contract going to
so you
100.
have an 80% contract right now. People watching, they don't know what the hell that means. What does that mean? So you write up. Okay, let's say you write me up.
Okay.
You get me a life insurance policy. I'm paying $100 a month.
Right. So
Annually, that's
I gotta use
1,200.
my calculator because again, I'm not good at math.
Take the calculator out.
That's how simple this business is. So let's just say the average sale is 1,500,
Okay, okay.
meaning that a client's gonna pay about $80 to $84 a month.
Let's do 100 a month. So it's like even like easier.
Okay.
So 1,200 a year.
1,200 a year.
Okay,
So you times that by 80%.
because that's your contract.
Correct.
How long have you been? Were you at this company for?
About 3 years, 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
So did you start off with an 80%
No.
contract?
No. Started at 25%.
So 20. You started at 25. 4 years later, you're at an 80%.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
So let's just say I do that. Client's gonna pay $100. That means it's gonna be $1,200 a year. What this company will pay me is $960, right, out of 80%.
You did 1,200 times 80%.
Correct.
Okay.
But then they're gonna advance me 75%, which is it only equals to $720.
Well, that's a carrier rule. So
Yeah.
let's call it. What was the first number? 1,200 times 80. What is that?
960.
960. Okay. So now, what are you getting here? What's the compensation looking like here? And just for the sake of keeping your compensation specifically just private, but give us a general number of what that would look like here at Excellence.
It's we're looking at 1,000.
Okay.
About $1,000. $1,016, like some change.
Okay, so guys, we are agents, Family First Life Excellence. We take pride and real joy in paying our agents the highest compensation in the insurance industry. So I just want to be clear on that we pay the agents the most. So if you're a life insurance agent and you're not working with us, I just want you to ask yourself a simple question, like, for the same amount of work that you're doing right now, why wouldn't you want to get paid double or triple?
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Victor was at an 80%. His contract that we signed him on is more than 100%. That's just day one. He had to start at a 25% contract at the old company. Took him 4 years to get to an 80%. We're saying, hey, F all of that. First day one, we're starting you at 100% plus.
Yeah.
That's how much we believe in our agents, and that's one of our philosophies that we take pride in is, hey, the agent's doing a lot of the work. The agent's got to call the leads, solve the problem, sometimes visit them in their home, do the paperwork, et cetera, et cetera. Our CEO was like, why aren't they getting paid more?
Right.
And we know these insurance companies are billion-dollar companies.
Correct.
Why can't the agents make a little bit more money? So
Yeah.
I do appreciate that, and shout out to our CEO for handling that and negotiating on our behalf. And it's definitely keeping us happier, with more money in our pockets. And,
Right.
it just helps us help more people. It comes
Exactly.
down to that. So we got the leads, bro. We got compensation. What else was appealing to you and, from this opportunity that differs from the other one that you were at?
Again, for me, just going back to the compensation, the leads. Like, okay, I'm actually contacting people that want what the service that I have to provide, and I'm getting paid for it more. Back then, I didn't have that. I was prospecting for my own clientele. I was prospecting, recruiting, making, let's just say 100 phone calls a day just to book one appointment, and then just for that appointment to cancel, it's kind of like,
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
because you booked the appointment doesn't mean they're going to show up.
exactly, right? Or it doesn't mean they're going to give you the right address either, or where you go.
Right.
So going through that process, kind of like I was really in the trenches, really getting down and dirty with it, making these phone calls, trying to book these appointments, recruiting this person, and this person's gone the next day and didn't give me a list, or recruiting this person gave me a list, but the list wasn't a quality list, So it's just like really just trial and error. Or you recruit this person, recruits this person, recruits another person, and then they all quit. They all get together, have a meeting, quit.
Talking about recruiting, what is, I think, another highlight here is the fact that you can build a business. You can
Yeah.
have a team. You were there for 4 years. How big did your team get over there? And do you think you'll build a bigger team here? Or do you even want to build? What's your...
Yeah, so of course I want to build. For me, building in the insurance industry is your key to freedom, because I don't want to be a salesperson my whole life. Never wanted to. Didn't come into the business to be just a salesperson. You know,
And on that note, sorry, just so we can clarify, like I'm trying to think of the people that don't even understand what you mean by salesperson. I think you're saying like self-employed. You don't want to be
self-employed,
self-employed.
correct? Yeah,
What and I think
that's what I mean by being a salesperson. When you're just in sales, it's kind of like a barber that cuts hair. What happens if the barber gets sick and it doesn't cut hair that day? He had missed out on money. He can't physically be there to cut someone's hair, so that means his income is no longer there as well.
right,
So
right.
for me, that's what being a salesperson is, meaning that you have to physically be there. You have to physically be the one making the calls and doing this, doing that. And if the day you can't do it, you can't produce income. You
Yeah.
don't produce money.
I was gonna say I hope Robert Kiyosaki sends us a couple dollars for mentioning his cash flow quadrant here. But
Right.
yeah, being self-employed, it's being your own boss. You work for yourself.
Which
you
is a
control,
step. It's
Which
a
I was
great
just
step.
gonna say, it's in our opinion, it's better, I'd say, than being an employee where
Yeah,
you're
at least you
you
work for yourself. You tell yourself if you're going to show up or not show up to
right,
work.
right. You're
type of
more in
thing.
control.
Correct.
But you want to go a step further.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want to go to
Business
a business ownership.
So now,
Why?
we let's use the same barber as an example. So now let's just say you're a barber, but in your barber shop you have 3 chairs where you employ other barbers and they give you a percentage of their makings, right? And then let's just say you take it further than that, you open up another barber shop and hire other barbers, etc. So for me, that's what the insurance industry gives you as well. It puts you in a position where you could build an organization, and you not only are you the one making sales, but now you got a team making sales where you're able to override.
Right, right. It reminds me of earned income versus passive income. It's
Yeah.
one of the things that Grant Cardone talks about, where there's a difference. Like he likes to brag about him paying for shit with his passive income,
Uh-huh.
and that's a flex. That's a
Yeah.
real flex in my opinion, because earned income is money you have to work
Correct.
for. Money
Yeah.
that I have to clock in, clock out, make a sale. That's earned
Put in
income.
work.
Passive income is getting paid over and over again for work that you've already put in.
Mm-hmm.
So, Victor, why residual income? Why are you going to build a bigger business here? Like, what's excellence going to do for you?
Yeah.
that-
So the way I look at it is, what I remember back then as well was a lot of people say, "Oh man, do you provide leads?" I think that was the biggest thing where it turned.
oh,
a
so
lot
when
of
you
people-
hired people, they'd ask you, "Hey, you have leads?" Or
do you provide the leads for us?
what would you say?
I'll say we would teach you how to create
Create your own leads.
Create your own leads, right? Got to overcome this objection. But now the way I look at it is, we're gonna put people in the position where they have the leads.
Right, right.
All you have to do is pick up the phone and make the call.
And again, we've got leads everywhere.
Yeah.
If you're in, God knows, I don't know, Nebraska, in some town we've never heard of, we've got leads there.
If you're in Alaska,
We've got
Gotcha.
leads there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may have to do everything from home if it's snowing too
No,
much. I don't know if you
right.
got a polar bear outside your house. But whatever, like we got leads there.
right?
So,
So at the same time, it's a blessing and a curse because I learned how to create leads.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, I was telling you in the kitchen, like, bro, people that come from this company, we're hustlers because we
Yeah.
don't have anything. They literally just give us, all right, man, here's your compensation. This is how you write up an application. Go find your own fucking clients.
Go get it. Which again, it's a blessing and a curse because in the blessing, in the sense of you got to put in work. You really got to.
You gotta learn how to feed yourself.
I had to get out of my comfort zone. You know, meeting strangers, talking to people. Here's my business card. Give me a call.
Yeah.
You know, getting to know people out in the streets randomly. Just like that's how really. What's a number I could reach you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting the number,
Right.
calling them.
I remember those days,
booking
man.
the appointment.
We go to the malls.
We were doing everything.
I was retelling this to somebody, bro. Like, I got banned from a couple malls.
Same.
You did too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
All the time.
we would
I'll be like, yo, stay away from that place. A month later, go back.
6 month ban.
Yeah.
We can't go. True
Maybe that's
story.
it,
We couldn't
yeah.
go to some fucking security guards would be like, because they'd call it soliciting,
Yeah.
which
Technically, it wasn't.
technically it wasn't soliciting, but we had to get our bag. It's like we
Yeah.
got to talk to people,
You
and
gotta hustle.
yeah, they'd be like, all right, you guys, enough. You're bothering people. You're soliciting. You can't, like, they'd write it up, and it'd be some serious
They
thing.
would fine you too.
Right,
They
right.
could fine you if they wanted to.
So you won't have to do that anymore, my friend.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
can,
So,
you know.
to me, I'm looking forward to that. Like, what can I really do? Just being in a position where I'll just making the phone calls.
Excellence is a place, guys, where you can get right to work. You don't have to worry about, because it's a big deal. Like, okay, I got, maybe you have some clients for a week, But what about next week? What about next year? What about next month? Like, I'm telling you guys, the clients are always coming. We have leads that come in every single day. So it's the perfect place. And as an agency owner right now and having my team, that's what we love about, just our company in general is that, the clients are provided to you and for you. Again, you just have to go pick up the phone, help them, listen to them, do what's right. And by doing what's right for them, the company will do you right and pay you a good amount of money, keep you happy, keep you rolling. I think that's a genius business model. So this sun is almost melting me, so I'm probably getting darker by the second. But I think we've had a pretty good conversation. Is there anything you wanted to touch on, or?
No, good at this point. Yeah, cool. This is project number one.
We're gonna keep doing this. I mean, where can people find us? We've got a fan in the background wanting to find us on social media. Thank you, sir, for asking that question. They like, they want to know.
You can follow me on Instagram, Victorious Rodriguez _.
For me, guys, I would say if you're serious and you want to just learn more if it's business related, 562-781-3297. That's my direct line. My Instagram is _Marlon, Marlon Hernandez, Hernandez. Please add me. Please DM me. I check that stuff all the time. I take this very seriously. And let me just say, there's no such thing as a dumb question.
Right.
If you feel like, man, I want to ask him this or ask Victor that, approach us, guys. We're business people, but we're not mind readers, so we don't know what you're going through or what you're thinking. So reach out to us. Maybe you're not in this industry and you're in something else, and
would like to learn about the industry.
Maybe you have opportunity for us. So this isn't just about us doing what we want to do. We definitely want to collaborate and keep learning. We are students, and we know that there's more to life than just life insurance and podcast, and it's fun, but we want to get our hands on as many things as possible. So
yes, sir.
Shout out to my boys in the background, John and Tyler. Appreciate you guys. They're providing the equipment and coming through. I think we're good.
We're good.
Yeah. Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Have a good one.
Peace. Woo!
All right.
Man.